Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. I'm your host, Julian Metlock, and today we have a special guest, Western Illinois University women's golf coach, Lia Lukkarinen. Thanks for joining me, Coach Lukkarinen.
Thanks for having me.
First off, I would like to congratulate you and your team on the third place finish out of 14 schools at the Saluki Invitational last week. That leads me to my first question. Were you pleased with the finish considering the fact that your team was 3 shots away from first place?
Yes, please. That's a really difficult golf course for us. It has been. So for us to shoot those numbers under pretty difficult weather conditions was great. Obviously we'd have liked to have had a victory, but for us to be competitive with those type of teams was really good.
You had 2 golfers among the top 10. One golfer in particular, senior Lindsay Wandre, shot a 154 to capture third place overall between individuals. How has she improved since her freshman year?
Well, I think her stroke average has improved steadily over the years. I think in golf, she's really improved mentally. When the wind's howling at 40 miles an hour and you're wearing 5 layers of clothes, it's really important to just stay focused and get things done. And so she's worked a lot on her brain. So.
This past Sunday, the team finished second at the IFPW Spring Invitational in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Can you tell me a little bit about the tournament?
Well, unfortunately, same weather situation. 40-mile-an-hour winds the first day, so that was a little tough. And second day, a little bit of rain. Would have liked to catch Detroit Mercy, would have been good, but they have won the Horizon League in the past, so they're a great team. Again, we're pleased, we're improving, and obviously Tara Peterman, played well and was medalist for the event, so that was pretty exciting.
Okay, there's only one freshman on the roster, Christy Shuden.
Yes.
How has she fared this season, and how has the rest of the team embraced her?
Oh, well, I definitely think they've embraced her. She's fit in really well with the program. She's a great player. Leathernecks need to putt a little bit better, and she's in that same category. I think when the putting really improves, her scoring average is going to be where she'd like it, but she's done a great job.
The team has done exceptionally well as they have finished in the top 10 overall in each tournament this spring. What do you think is the reason behind that?
Well, we've been really working hard on our short games. So we give them a 2-hour workout to complete just about each practice, and an hour and 45 minutes of that is from 100 yards and in. So that's what we're trying to work on.
Another senior, in particular, Claire Gersh, has golfed extremely well this season. She was also named Scholar Athlete of the Week. What makes Claire a special player?
Claire hits it almost 300 yards off the tee, which for a female golfer is exceptionally long. And she's a good kid. She's very organized. She thinks pretty clearly on the golf course. So she's been a great athlete for us. And she's also very good in the classroom, which is important. Earlier
you mentioned putting. Is that the one area you think that your team still needs to improve upon?
Yes, very much so. Each course we go to, the greens change a little bit. They're not always the same. So we need to make a little bit better adjustments and really get the speed down. Sometimes I think maybe forget we're not at home and the greens get a little faster than we're used to. So.
How do you determine which players on your roster make the traveling team?
Well, when we begin the spring, it's based on the fall performance. And then when we're in the spring, it's based on performance in the tournaments and then stroke average, basically. So it's all about how they play. Do
some of the players become upset or mad?
I'm sure, but the great thing about golf is, you're in charge of what you shoot. So ultimately at the end of the day, whatever the number they post is pretty much on them. So I don't have to decide defense or offense or anything like that. It's basically about how you play. So.
Do you think the success of your team could potentially have helped you with the recruiting process for next year?
Oh, I think definitely. I mean, everybody wants to come to a program that's had some success, and the better we get, I think the more quality recruits we can have, and then get us to that ultimate goal of winning conference and trying to make it to NCAA regionals. So.
What do you love the most about coaching this team?
I have 4 seniors, and it's just been really fun to see them develop and get better. And I think we have a really good relationship. The trips are fun. We have a lot of fun, and I think that shows in our scores. I think if you make it too much like work, then sports are supposed to be fun. Right. So that's what this team does. They have a good time and they play golf, and it shouldn't be that hard. It's pretty easy.
Next week, the team plays in the Loyola Invitational. What is the one team that you can give you some trouble?
I'd probably have to say Loyola. We were able to win that tournament last year, which was exciting, and beat a couple of really good teams. But golf, I guess it's like football. It's any given day that any team can get hot. So
One question I would like to ask you personally is, have you ever considered coaching men?
I suppose, but I never have had the opportunity, so.
And what is the one thing you think would be different in coaching men as opposed to women?
Well, I think something you asked me earlier about how do they handle their rounds if they don't play well, if they're upset. I think in general, men seem to handle that a little bit differently. They can kind of say, hey, good round, you beat me out of my spot, and girls have a little bit of trouble doing that. So I think there'd be a little bit less, I guess, outward emotion, which may or may not be easy. I think with girls, you know what they're thinking because they let you know, and with guys, maybe that's not quite as easy. So.
How do you see the team performing for the rest of the season?
Well, we have 2 more events. Obviously, we hope to play well at Loyola. We're actually, quite frankly, hoping for some good weather to play in. And then when we head to conference, that golf course is fairly straightforward. So, I'm hopeful that we can make some birdies and be competitive. So.
And one final question, what's the future here for the women's golf team at WIU for future seasons?
Well, I only have 1 freshman, so the team is going to be pretty young as of next year. Hopefully it's a good future. I think as long as we keep recruiting quality student athletes and people who are good in the classroom, should be good.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have here today. I would like to thank Coach Lukkarinen for joining me here on Inside Leatherneck Athletics. Once again, I'm Julian Mellock, and I'll see you soon.